Do Elizabeth and Lucas say I love you to each other in season 9?
They're magical words, aren't they?
Plenty of drama, plenty of stakes, suspense, and comedy. It's something new. It's a bit of a breath of fresh air.
We boldly go where When Calls the Heart has not gone before.
There's one moment that's gonna go down in When Calls the Heart history.
There are two really big moments. We're kind of taking an abrupt turn, and life is gonna throw us some curveballs.
You'll always be on the edge of your seat to cut some capacity when you're watching this.
Everybody's going to be tested. It's going to be pushed to the limit.
Seeing this man you love with this child that you love so much.
It probably gets the ovaries going, I would think. Can I say that?
You are my adventure. You are my passion.
Now that we're in season 9, where do we find Elizabeth and Lucas on the path to their budding romance?
We see that they have progressed in their relationship. We're getting to explore more of what that relationship is in a family dynamic with little Jack, and what that relationship is like in their private, more intimate moments together. Fueled by care and respect and understanding, but also a fair amount of passion. They're not holding back, I'll say that.
We don't want them to hold back, because some of my favorite moments on the show over the years have been those beautiful romantic gestures. Are those gonna continue in season 9?
Well, of course. I mean, it's a very Lucas Bouchard move to do these grand romantic gestures, but actually, without spoiling too much, Elizabeth and Lucas do share a few conversations about how that isn't the only way to show your love for your partner, and that actually the simple little things and the little moments can mean just as much.
It is very much of a honeymoon stage off the beginning for Lucas and Elizabeth, but I think another theme that is integral to this season is communication. Perhaps small gestures are at times more meaningful than large gestures, so we'll see them try and make their way through that, making some mistakes along the way, but hopefully ultimately learning to be cohesive together.
Do Elizabeth and Lucas say I love you to each other in season 9?
They're magical words, aren't they? And how do I tease this? I think it would be a good thing if that happened. I think they're in love.
The L word. They do like each other, so yes, they express that.
Well, Aaron, you know what happens when two people are in love? Sometimes that results in a proposal.
Oh, tell me more.
I know you obviously can't reveal whether or not that happens, but is it fair to say that they're on the track towards that?
This is the same ring that I've been wearing since season 1. I took it off temporarily when I was wearing the engagement ring and wedding band from Jack, rest his character's soul. And it's back, so maybe something will replace it on my left hand this season. We will see.
100%. Lucas is known from the start that Elizabeth is different to him and is the person that he wants to spend his life with. But as far as an actual proposal, I don't know.
Okay, we'll stay tuned. I think one of the things that fans are really excited to see is Lucas's growing and developing bond with Elizabeth's son, Little Jack. So I'm curious,
Yes.
Have you been filming with Little Jack this season?
There is so much filming with Little Jack this season, and I'm very excited to see how the fans react to that dynamic. There is activities, dinner, schemes, plots, games. Yeah, there's a ton. I think I want to be a dad now.
Lucas and Little Jack just get along so well. I think for Elizabeth, it's just like a heart melt. Every time she sees them together, she's falling deeper and deeper in love with him, because he's not just like, the studly guy who owns the saloon. He's the studly guy who owns the saloon and is like great with her son.
Do you think spending all this time with Little Jack and really bonding together, do you think that that's giving Lucas a little bit of the itch to maybe expand the family even further someday?
I think that, of course, has to be something on Lucas's mind. But I also just want to point out that his relationship with Jack and experiencing that dynamic is, I think, very, very fulfilling. Not to disregard Jack's character and his Thornton at all, but Lucas feels a desire and a responsibility to want to step up and be a father figure to Jack.
I just have to, imagine that seeing this man you love with this child that you love so much, you just, your heart explodes into a million pieces.
Yes, it probably gets the ovaries going, I would think. Can I say that?
I want to just rip the Band-Aid right off. Elizabeth and Lucas are together.
Ow.
My boy Nathan, how is he doing?
We don't just kind of pick up like he's all better, but without a doubt, Elizabeth's happiness has always been, his main focus. He comes to terms with how happy she is and he learns to accept it. And it brings in a very interesting dichotomy to Lucas and Nathan, who, might have butted heads in the past, but he does see what a good guy Lucas is.
How would you describe the terms that Nathan is on with Elizabeth and also with Lucas?
Friendly terms for sure with Elizabeth and Lucas. If it wasn't a love triangle, there's something that always connected those characters to be together. And and drama ensues when they're together. So I think it's a great thing when we see the three of them together.
I think the big question on my mind is, will Nathan find love or romance in season 9?
Nathan finding romance and love will happen in season 9. Whether he jumps on it or whether that opportunity, balloons into something that can be called a relationship is yet to be determined. You got to watch to find out. But that opportunity does come into Nathan's life. Yeah.
Do you want to see him with somebody we already know in Hope Valley, or do you think he should possibly be with a brand new character? There's a lot of fans who really enjoyed the scene between Nathan and Faith in the season 8 finale.
At the end of season 8, those two could really get on the same wavelength, understood each other, So, for them to both be at that spot at the end definitely puts them in a new area moving into season 9, and kind of a friendship would blossom out of that and an understanding. And we do see that kind of grow for sure. I think if Nathan connects with the person, whether it's somebody new or somebody that's been in the town for a while, there are new people that come into the town. So that could be a possibility. It could be anybody.
That makes me so happy. I can't wait to find out who it is.
Well, Nathan's true love is his dog. Allie is the one that he cares about the most. There's some very sweet moments between the two of them, this season as that relationship grows. And, Allie growing up too. It's a big thing. Nathan really doesn't have a kind of female presence in his life to help out when those questions get at, when a young woman starts asking questions that the father figure is like, I don't know the answer to this. And, we start to venture in that territory a little bit throughout the season, which is, I think, super funny and fun. There's a really, really sweet scene kind of in the middle of the season between the two of them. Erin was even telling me, she's like, this is a really, really great scene. This is gonna be a favorite scene for sure. This is a very, it'll make you clutch your pearls or whatever,
The question and the notion of Lee and Rosemary becoming parents, it's been something that's been on the table for now quite a few seasons.
Yep.
I know you can't tell us if they're officially becoming mom and dad, but will we get an answer about the future of their family planning in season 9, for better or for worse?
I think that after this season, fans will not need to ask that question anymore. I think we have finally found a way to resolve anybody belaboring that question. I think we're going to address it.
It's all I've heard about for the last, 3, maybe even 4 seasons. I feel like this season we see more resolution on that journey than ever. And I'm so pleased with how that story is told this season. And it's complicated. It's complicated and it's nuanced and it's not easy. It's not easy. And I'm just so excited for fans to go on the ride with us.
Let's say hypothetically,
Right.
Lee and Rosemary do become parents in season 9. Why do you think now is the right time for them to expand their family?
Why it's more impactful now is because I think it's when people finally give up hope that they tend to, you give up on things. And if you do give up on things, you might miss that 1 in a million chance. You can never, ever give up on something that's important.
Was that you and Pascal politely knocking on John Tinker's door saying, hey, we need some resolution here. Regardless of what the outcome is, we gotta address it here?
There was nothing polite about knocking on the door. This is a storyline that the fans have wanted, but almost more than that. Pascal and I have wanted resolution. And I'll give Pascal credit where credit is due. She really spearheaded this year, and she was not going to let it go. She was determined to get an answer, and it's because of her tenacity that we got it. And the fans will get it too.
I really felt very strongly that there was a certain story that should be told, and fortunately our writers were really receptive to hearing that conversation. And you know, John Tinker and I, we sat down a number of times over the phone, over Zoom, over FaceTime, kind of plotting it out and mapping out the storyline of what was the most respectful way of telling this story. And we touched base throughout the season of how to go forward, and I'm really happy that we did, because I really believe in this storyline very strongly.
We have flip-flopped a little bit throughout the years.
Yeah.
Are you team adoption or team pregnancy?
I've always been team baby, so give them a child any way that you want. I just have always thought they needed to have a baby in their life. Yeah.
Adoption or pregnancy?
Can I pick both? I'd like a scoop of each, please.
Are the Coulters going to welcome multiple children this season? Because I'd be down.
I'm not saying anything, but wouldn't that be something?
We got to meet the entire Canfield family in season 8.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we find Joseph in season 9?
Yeah, Joseph is very well established in the community at this point. He is the pastor, so you get to hear me do some sermons. He's running around counseling people. He's just making sure that everybody's all right. There's a caution to doing that. If you spend a lot of time dealing with other people, you can kind of miss what's going on in your own home. And so that's Joseph's big lesson for this season. There's lots of conversations between Joseph and Cooper. We learn a lot more about Cooper and how he handles certain subject matters, certain topics.
What kind of a space is Cooper in season 9?
Well, young Master Elias gets to kind of flex his muscles a little bit in this season. He's getting a little older, getting a little more brazen, which is interesting because it couldn't be further from Elias in real life. He is super sweet, super easygoing, but Cooper starts to kind of push the boundaries and test the limits. He's in a rebellious stage, but what I like about this story is it's not just because, he hit a certain age. It's not just because hormones are shifting or changing. I don't know. It goes back to his love for his family. He questions a lot of things, his faith included. He questions. If Cooper was played by another little actor, it'd be amazing to watch, but that's my son. We have conversations about everything before we do it, and it's really, really cool to watch. I'm so proud of him.
What can you tell me about Angela's trajectory this season?
Angela is spreading her wings. The thing that I love about Angela and about watching my daughter Vienna play Angela is that Angela doesn't let her blindness define her. It's the independence that she's pushing for, and it's well deserved. And we have to let go. We have to let go a little bit.
And I know that Minnie especially is very protective of her baby girl. Now that Angela is in school, like you said, she's going to be a little bit more independent. How are Joseph and Minnie going to handle that?
The roles have kind of switched because in season 8, it was really Joseph that was like, no, let her go. She has to learn. And in season 9, it's really Minnie who's like, let her go. She has to, you got to let her go past this point.
We got to see Minnie really thrive working in the cafe last season. What are we going to see Minnie tackle in season 9?
She's really pushing Joseph to think of different things to do to take care of the family, to take the family to another level.
All while chasing her passion?
All while chasing her passion. The cafe becomes a huge centerpiece of Minnie's storyline.
We watched the season 8 finale, and there was that kind of like soul-crushing moment.
Part of me thought when the stage pulled away that Carson would be there.
Where does Team Infirmary stand when we pick up in season 9?
Faith is still very much dealing with and digesting that sort of, I want to call it a bit of a fizzle out between Faith and Carson. And now that she's working alone, trying to realize all of the dreams at the infirmary by herself, it really makes her think back to Carson. And there are some moments where she very much is forced to deal with that relationship. So by no means is it finished. She still has a lot to contend with.
Okay, so we have not seen the last of Faith and Carson.
There are still loose ends that need to be tied up. She definitely has a little bit of a broken heart that needs mending. So you'll see Faith confronting that this season in a really honest way.
Can you define their relationship status? Are they together? Are they not together?
I mean, I want to give you the classic Friends response. They were on a break.
We were on a break!
I want to call it a permanent break. They're chasing their own dreams right now. I don't know what that means for the future, but at the moment they're focusing on themselves.
Are we going to get any Carson cameos this season?
He is mentioned, so you'll have to wait and see.
Do you want to see Faith explore romance in season 9, or do you want to see her more focused on her career?
I would really love for Faith to find her footing, to really ground herself in Hope Valley as she is right now. I think that's so important before entering into any type of new dynamic or relationship. Eventually, I would love to see this character happy. She works so hard, she bottles so much up, and I would just love to see her free and allowing herself to express herself the way that she deserves to express herself.
This scene between Faith and Nathan, when they're together at the end of season 8, a lot of fans like the idea of them maybe sort of bubbling up a romance. What do you think about that?
I think that was actually one of my favorite scenes from season 8. It was just a really simple, honest moment between two broken-hearted people whose lives deviated from the direction that they were expecting them to go in. I think that Nathan and Faith do share a lot of things in common. They're people who service their communities. They put others before themselves and their own needs time and time again. And I think that was a really special check-in. And yeah, I don't know.